While Western headlines were entirely distracted by the loudest voices in the room, Japan's quietest giant was secretly preparing a very different kind of market takeover. For 5 consecutive years, the global automotive media essentially mocked Toyota. They called the legendary brand a dinosaur. They claimed that clinging to traditional gasoline hybrids while Tesla and BYD sprinted ahead into pure electric vehicles was a massive, fatal mistake. A mistake that would hand the EV crown away for the rest of automotive history. Then, out of absolutely nowhere, Toyota did not just show up late to the fight. They completely shattered the entire pricing structure of the global auto industry overnight. In China, Toyota rolled out the all-new BZ4X crossover. We are talking about a vehicle packing 268 horsepower, 630 kilometers of driving range, and a massive 15.6-inch digital cockpit. The price tag for all of this engineering? 129,800 yuan. That translates to roughly 18,000 United States dollars. That is less than half of what a base model Tesla Model Y costs right now. So you have to ask yourself, is this a desperate fire sale from a legacy automaker completely running out of road? Or is this the most ruthless strategic trap in modern automotive history? Stick around, because I am about to decode exactly how Toyota weaponized its biggest rival's technology to build an unkillable $18,000 electric vehicle, and why this changes the gravity of the market for everyone, especially the premium German brands we usually cover right here on VeloceReviews. Let us kill the most obvious assumption right away. $18,000 does not mean this is a stripped-down penalty box. Here is exactly what you get in cold, hard numbers, stripping away all the fluffy marketing language. Start with the physical footprint of the vehicle. The BZ4X measures 4,780 millimeters long, 1,866 millimeters wide, and 1,510 millimeters tall. It rides on a massive 2,880 millimeter wheelbase. If you line those exact specifications up against a Tesla Model Y, they are virtually identical. This is a genuine mid-size crossover. It is not some tiny, compromised economy car. It features a sweeping fastback roofline and full-width LED lighting that looks like it was pulled directly from a high-end concept studio. That means this design was not rushed together in 6 months just to panic react to falling sales. This architecture had been sitting on the shelf, locked and loaded. Now, let us look at the mechanical heart of this vehicle. A front-mounted electric motor produces 200 kilowatts of power. That equals 268 horsepower and 330 newton meters of torque. But here is the absolute wildest part of this entire story. That motor is not built by Toyota. It is built by Fine Dreams Power, which is actually a direct subsidiary of BYD. Buyers can choose between 2 different blade battery pack options. The first is a 65.28 kilowatt-hour version rated for 550 kilometers of range on the Chinese testing cycle. The second is a larger 73.98 kilowatt-hour pack that stretches the driving range to an impressive 630 kilometers. When you plug this vehicle into a 90 kilowatt direct current fast charger, the battery pack surges from a 30% state of charge up to 80% in roughly 27 minutes. That is fast enough for a standard coffee break, getting you right back on the highway. Step inside the cabin, and the value proposition just keeps accelerating. You are looking at a 15.6-inch, 2.5K central touchscreen display. You get a fully digital instrument cluster right behind the steering wheel. You get 9 standard airbags, which includes side curtain airbags that run the absolute entire length of the cabin from the A-pillar all the way back to the C-pillar. If you step up to the higher trim levels, Toyota adds their advanced driver assistance system, co-developed with Momenta's 5.0 platform. This system utilizes up to 33 distinct sensors and even offers an optional roof-mounted LiDAR unit. That is the exact kind of high-end sensor suite you would normally expect to see bolted onto a luxury car costing twice as much money. When you put all of that hardware together, you get an electric vehicle that simply is not a compromise in any single meaningful category. It is not slower than the competition, it is not smaller, it is not less connected to the digital world, and it is arguably much safer than cars demanding $20,000 more. That is the exact detail that should legitimately terrify Toyota's competitors. The sticker price is shocking, but the fact that the price tag came with almost zero technological sacrifices is what keeps rival executives awake at night. So, how exactly did Toyota pull this off without entirely gutting the specification sheet? The honest truth is that they simply stopped trying to out-engineer BYD on battery chemistry, and they started buying directly from them instead. This vehicle is built and sold through a joint venture between Toyota and China's First Automobile Works. That specific corporate structure matters way more than it sounds on paper. A localized joint venture allows Toyota to manufacture specifically for the domestic Chinese market. They can source local components, negotiate brutal local supplier pricing, and build vehicles utilizing local labor and material costs. They completely bypass the massive financial penalty of importing a global platform designed for Japan or the United States. And the single most important supplier they integrated into this strategy was BYD. The vehicle rides on Toyota's own e-TNGA platform. That is the same exact modular electric architecture underpinning the brand's global push. It delivers Toyota's legendary high structural rigidity and a beautifully low center of gravity for highly predictable handling. But the battery pack and the motor spinning the wheels come directly out of the BYD ecosystem. Take a second and truly process what that business decision means. Toyota did not waste a decade and billions of dollars attempting to reverse engineer lithium iron phosphate battery chemistry. BYD has already spent over 15 years perfecting that specific chemistry at a massive scale that absolutely nobody else on the planet can currently match. Instead, Toyota did the wildly pragmatic thing. They bought the best, cheapest, and safest battery technology currently available on the open market, and they wrapped their own chassis tuning, ride quality, and decades of untouchable brand trust right around it. I call this the enemy alliance strategy. It is far less romantic than the lone genius inventor narrative that the EV industry absolutely loves to sell the public. But as a cold, hard business calculation, it is brutally effective. Now, let us bring this massive development back to the United States market and look at the broader strategic implications. We need to talk about the money, because the underlying financials dictate the future of the auto industry. In its most recent fiscal year, Toyota posted a staggering net income of roughly $25.4 billion. For comparison, Tesla's full-year net income over that exact same period landed at $3.8 billion. Toyota is generating nearly 6 times the profit of Tesla, and they are doing it entirely off the back of gasoline hybrids. Those hybrids are not a distraction for Toyota. They are a massive, unstoppable cash machine quietly funding everything else. In 2024, Toyota sold a record-breaking 10.8 million vehicles globally. That kind of volume generates enormous free cash flow every single quarter. It means Toyota can easily absorb an $18,000 loss leader electric vehicle in an emerging market without even blinking. But what happens when Toyota decides to aggressively bring this exact pricing strategy to the United States? The American market is currently struggling with severe consumer hesitancy. Buyers are deeply worried about charging infrastructure, extreme battery degradation, and plummeting resale values. But layer Toyota's legendary brand trust on top of those fears. Decades of proven reliability and incredibly cheap maintenance mean a cautious first-time electric vehicle buyer is drastically more likely to take the electric leap if the car wears a Toyota badge. Furthermore, Toyota has a physical logistical footprint of over 14,000 dealerships globally. When they decide to flood the United States market with affordable electric vehicles, they have the physical infrastructure to service them immediately, completely sidestepping the massive service center shortages that plague newer electric startups. Now, as the premier destination for the latest Audi news, we have to look at this strictly through the lens of Ingolstadt and the premium German sector. Here at VeloceReviews, we spend a massive amount of time analyzing the breathtaking engineering of vehicles like the new Q6 e-tron and the incredible premium platform electric architecture. Audi is pushing the absolute boundaries of luxury, performance, and 800-volt charging architecture. But Toyota's ruthless pricing strategy creates a massive psychological problem for the premium tier. If a consumer can buy a fully capable, highly advanced mid-size electric crossover with LiDAR and over 600 kilometers of range for under $20,000, the perceived value of a luxury electric vehicle comes under extreme pressure. Audi, BMW, and Mercedes-Benz now have to definitively prove why their vehicles command prices north of $60,000 or $70,000 in the United States. For Audi specifically, this means their United States strategy must pivot even harder into untouchable software experiences, hyper-premium interior materials, and aggressive autonomous driving features. The mass market floor is completely falling out. You cannot compete on basic range or screen size anymore because Toyota and BYD just commoditized those features entirely. Audi has to lean heavily into their motorsport heritage and their legendary quattro driving dynamics to justify the premium tax. The Volkswagen Group's massive investment into their PowerCo battery subsidiary is their direct counterattack to ensure they control their own destiny rather than relying on an enemy alliance. And we have not even discussed the ultimate trump card Toyota is currently holding: solid-state batteries. The Japanese giant is publicly committed to commercializing solid-state battery technology in the 2027 to 2028 window. They are targeting full battery charges in roughly 10 minutes and driving ranges pushing well past 1,200 kilometers on a single charge. If they hit that timeline, even loosely, they do not just close the technological gap with BYD and Tesla, they completely leapfrog the entire industry. It would instantly render today's deep charging anxiety a complete non-issue for the average American consumer. Add it all up, and Toyota's supposed sluggishness starts looking a lot less like corporate incompetence and a lot more like calculated, terrifying patience. Toyota watched every single electric vehicle startup spend billions of dollars to build the infrastructure, educate the consumer, and pave the electric road. Now, Toyota is simply driving a massive, profitable hybrid tank right onto that completely paid-for highway. So, I want to hear directly from you. Was this brilliant, patient strategy the master plan all along? Or did Toyota simply get completely bailed out by BYD's battery technology arriving at the perfect historical moment? How do you think premium brands like Audi need to pivot their upcoming releases to survive this massive price war? Drop your thoughts down in the comments right now, because I know for a fact we are not all going to agree on this. If you crave more of these intense, behind-the-scenes deep dives into the absolute latest Audi news and automotive industry warfare, hit that subscribe button immediately. Next time, we are breaking down a massive shift in German engineering that you absolutely do not want to miss. Stay sharp, and I will see you in the next one.